This SoonerScoop.com video is streaming in crystal clear 4K resolution on YouTube thanks to Enjoy Vision in Oklahoma City. If you're ready to see the rest of the world just as clearly, get your fresh perspective at Enjoy Vision. Enjoy Vision. This is where Sooner Scoop Lasix.
Hello and welcome back to Edward Osovich, Bob Przybylo here from the SoonerScoop.com studios. Welcome back to the SoonerScoop.com YouTube channel. They won. They did it. 93-87 victory over Mississippi State on Saturday, and Oklahoma kind of has put themselves back into this thing. I don't know if they ever left, even though I was ready to fire everybody a week ago. It was a good win. At the end of the day, very, very solid win to snap a 5-game losing streak. Let's just start here. We're going to get into a lot of the stuff that Porter Moser had to say. Good win for the OU women over the weekend, a 40-point win over Arkansas on Sunday. We'll talk to George Stoia here in a second. But, Bob, they're back in this, and let's see where they can go. A big week ahead. You wrote about it today on SoonerScoop.com. Let's go back to Saturday, though, in the 93-87 victory. Jeremiah Fears, best game since Michigan on December 18th. 27 points, 10 assists, 5 rebounds, and I believe Mike Houck came in, gave us the stat. It was the best or the first 27-point, 10-plus assist, 5 rebound game since Trae Young, dating back to 1996-97 season. We'll start there, though. He was fantastic on Saturday for Oklahoma.
And he was fantastic Tuesday at Florida. I don't know what happened after LSU. I don't know what the come-to-Jesus meeting was like for Fears, but he's been a different player. Much more confident, much more decisive. Like, not trying to figure things out. He knows where he wants to go. He's accepting all the contact that's coming toward him. 14 free throws on Saturday. That's what it's going to take. It's going to take him being willing to take the hits, keep coming up, keep making the shots, and getting everyone else involved.
I guess it also helps. It kind of goes hand in hand. He wasn't the only guy with the double-double on Saturday. Sam Godwin, 17 points, 10 rebounds, particularly in the first half. And, you know, you look at the 10 assists for Jeremiah Fears, a career high. To get an assist, it helps when other guys make buckets, and maybe it's as simple as that, but a really good performance for Sam Godwin.
Yeah, someone who has definitely been down in the dumps in terms of the fans, maybe in terms of himself, too. The last 3-4 weeks been just the effort that he's had to put in to do anything has been so hard to get him to be productive, and Saturday was that best game he's had since Bedlam. There's no doubt about that, but 17 points and 10 boards, that's going to work. And then you add what Mo was able to do coming off the bench. You get that from the 5. OU's going to win a lot of games. We just obviously have not seen that all too often.
15 points, or I guess, 22 points combined for Mo Wagway as well as Sam Godwin. 19 points from the bench, though, and a big part of that was Kobe Elvis going 3 for 5 from behind the arc. He had 9 points. Dayton Forsyth, 5 points, 2 rebounds, and a steal on Saturday after getting his jersey retired at Dale High School on Friday night with the entire team in tow. But overall, it was just a really good, solid, complete effort, maybe even more so for the Oklahoma fan. I think everybody was thinking the same thing with about 5-6 minutes left in that game. Is this going to happen again? Is LSU going to happen again? And they were able to close the game out. Is that maybe the biggest takeaway from it?
Yeah, it's 85-71. Mo dunks, gets the technical. I get if they want to call it that. So then Mississippi State starts making the run. Couple turnovers, couple tense moments, but you fought through it. Right guys were stepping up to the free throw line. Right guys were trying to take charge in the moment. And, you know, what I thought was interesting, because I went to the women's game Thursday, and there was the entire men's team sitting together. Mm-hmm. And then they all went to Dale on Friday for Dayton's ceremony. As much as fans might not understand, this team is still connected. Sure. I really, truly feel that they have the belief in each other. They still enjoy being around each other. And you can take one game like this, and as Porter said, you can change the narrative, and now can you start stacking them? Can you start banking them? And can maybe if you do enough in the next couple weeks, you're not like sweating it out on the bubble come conference tournament week.
Mississippi State win on Saturday, qualified as Oklahoma's 5th quad 1 victory of the season. That is more than they had at any point last year. And kind of like what you said, Bob, it's like when I think there's been a lot of negativity around the program, and it's obvious. When you play like they have over the last month, you're going to get that negativity. You're going to get that criticism from assholes and idiots like me. But at the same time, I thought, like, if nothing else, if you took nothing else out of Saturday, it was kind of cool to see a team that does have all of that negativity surrounding it right now kind of dig deep and find a way to win. And, like, I thought that there's a couple plays that kind of highlighted in there that are like, that's really grinding. And one of those was Duke Miles in the second half diving for a loose ball. He basically loses half of his teeth in the front of his mouth. Unbelievable situation as you see it here, the teeth on the floor. But, I mean, you talk about a play that kind of represents what that game meant to Oklahoma from a veteran like Duke Miles. Pretty damn cool. And as you'll see here in a second, he loses half of his mouth and he comes back in the game.
Comes back into the game. Now, he never gave us, he didn't look at a camera and smile. That's a missed opportunity.
There was not a whole lot of smiling. I think he was in a lot of pain. Anybody that has had, that like a mouth injury like that, very, very painful.
Just amazing. I didn't know what happened at first. I thought maybe he got kicked as he dove. And I saw replay and just a full face plant, just all out effort trying to get the ball. And I know Porter was furious. They didn't stop play because they stopped play when OU's had the ball and someone else was hurt. I believe it might have been Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
I'm not
underneath
sure.
the basket, I believe. Underneath
because there was like
southern
a lull.
basket.
It wasn't like they were driving. It was a lull in the offense, and they stopped it. Instead, Mississippi State got a free three because Duke was out. And I thought
it could have been a big swing in the game.
I absolutely thought it would be because they made it from 73-64 to 67, and now Duke's out. Like, did this just fall apart because someone tried too hard? Yeah. Is that really what the
Busting
story
his ass to dive
of
for a
this
ball
season is going to be? They tried too hard, and now everything's falling apart. But he came back in, and I'm sure that was a big emotional lift for his teammates to see him being out there. I know we'll get an update when we talk to Porter Tuesday. I don't imagine anything's to be an issue. I don't know if he has to
might have to wear some type of like mouth guard I really don't know how that would go.
But it was huge that he came back and that was the type of fight that they needed to have, and on this day they absolutely had it.
All right, let's get into a little bit of what Porter Moser had to say after the game. Bob, you asked him, there's been a narrative out there, certainly, here over the last couple weeks, and they had an opportunity to change that on Saturday. They did get the win. Here is Porter Moser after the game.
It's faith. Faith. We get put in different situations. The good Lord Jesus puts you in spots, but you got to trust, believe in the people you love, and that locker room, the belief, every day they come in there. You should have seen it last night. Wasn't even a hesitation. Whole team went to Dale, Oklahoma. We're all there courtside. Guys were in tears looking Dayton get that honor. And you don't like to see your family go through struggles. And we were all going through struggles. I've been through it. I'm a big boy. I can handle a lot. But for them to keep fighting through this. And, the crazy thing about it is to keep believing. There becomes a narrative, and we're right there. The NCAA tournament is right there, and that's what the belief you got to keep telling them, because that's the nugget, and it's just a constant belief, just blocking out outside noise for them, and getting back and getting them better. Sam Godwin, man, what a game he had. Fears is playing better. Jalen Moore played off 2 feet and kicked it out a couple times. He was playing the right way. For those guys, that's what the last 3 weeks has been. Just constantly transfer a belief that we're just block it out and play good basketball. And we haven't at a big thrust of time. And I'll take it from me. I'll start with me. And for the guys that, but there's a lot. There's basketball left. And this was a big, big step of getting back in the right direction.
We mentioned Jeremiah Fears. We mentioned Sam Godwin. Got to mention Jalen Moore, who Porter mentioned second half, 15 of his 18 coming in the second half on Saturday. And, that's kind of where this thing's at right now. It feels like we can put a number on it. They have 4 games left, and we'll get to a little bit more from Porter Moser here in a second. But coming up this week, you wrote about it on SoonerScoop.com this morning. This could be the biggest week of their season. If you're trying to punch a ticket to get into the NCAA tournament, got Kentucky coming to town.
First time
ever, which I thought was crazy that they've never come to Norman. But then again, I
maybe
guess
it's not
makes
that
a whole
crazy.
lot of sense. And then a trip down to Oxford on Saturday to take on Chris Beard and Ole Miss, who currently is kind of struggling
They're
right
struggling,
now.
and they go to Auburn.
There's a
in the
great
midweek.
there's a great opportunity for Oklahoma coming up.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. You have another ranked win, and now Kentucky doesn't move. They stay at 17, so now that would become your best ranked victory. And as you look at the bubble, and so many of these teams, you know, they all have warts at this point. There's reasons why they are where they are. But for OU to have the number of quad one victories that it could have, based on what is still in front of them, that would be the shot in the arm that I think would make it feel a heck of a lot different compared to where they were at last year, where they lost, 6 of their last 8, and they had all the injuries, and they were hoping that the work they had done previously was enough. Where now if you win just a couple more, they're going to be big time victories and put you in the right spot.
Definitely getting to the point in the season where if you're not like just a true college basketball junkie, you do need to start paying attention to some of these other teams so you don't find yourself in a situation like Oklahoma's been in. They obviously have to do their own work, right? But you start thinking about teams like a San Diego State, like an Arkansas, who that Oklahoma obviously beat. That win in Fayetteville starting to look a little bit more important. Wake Forest, North Carolina, SMU.
ACC, basically, because that conference, they'll get, 3 for sure.
Yeah.
And then we'll just have to
And we'll
find
see
out.
about everybody else. I don't think SMU should have much of a chance. Anytime they play a team with a pulse, don't get me started. They've got the ass kicked. George Mason, Xavier, Villanova, of course. So, there has been a whole lot of negativity. And Porter was asked about it. And in this day and age, it's tough to not get on a phone, scroll through Twitter, and see bozos like me just completely trying to trash the program. Porter was asked about it after the game on Saturday. Here he is. We'll come back and discuss.
It shows them there, like, where we are in terms of what a win will do for us. We come in and the competition, and we stubbed our toe against LSU. There's no question about it. We blew a lead, and we should have had it. And you have to get them back down and sit in the room and just be like, where are we with our goal? We talked to this mission statement about we need to play better basketball to win games to get in the tournament. And it's just constantly to where we're at. Were we 40 teams off the bubble? No. And just it's about believing. And, we still got 2 more home games, and I'm praying this thing's packed to give to against Kentucky, because they know it. They see it when they go on the road. We pull our bus up, and it's camping out. It's already full by an hour before the game. They know it. So to get these guys to believe that, man, we're right there. We're right there. The bubble, they see it. If they're going to listen to all the other stuff, might as well listen to where we are in the bubble, because it's right there. And it's just believing, understanding that in life, Jesus puts us in spots. We have a lot of guys faith-driven on this team, and they understand that. And I have to lead with that by example. I've been through it. I've been a long time. That's what I said earlier. More of my care is about them, that they understand this is an opportunity they can remember for the rest of their lives. Some of them, this is his last go-around. We found a way to win tonight against a top 15, whatever the hell it is, team, against a very, very good team. And now that can't take that, notches it up. And we're going to have another opportunity Wednesday. And I hope everyone comes out, but these young kids are human. They read it, they hear it, they see it, and they come to practice every day playing their ass off. They come to every day staying with it. And I couldn't be more joyous to coach that, because it could be the other way. It could be the other way. These guys, to see them all go there to see Dayton last night, and how hard the practice has been, and to get them rewarded, that is going to be, we need to build on that momentum that they got rewarded. Thank you, guys.
Oklahoma now 4-10 on the season. Had a little bit of a walk-off there. And that's the thing. Like, I think that there's a lot of people that walk out of Saturday, and maybe even here over the last month, it's like, I think Porter Moser is a great guy. I like him. I think he's a great ambassador of the program, but you got to have more of what you had Saturday, and that's winning basketball games. That's how he's going to be judged. Of the 4 left, at Kentucky on Saturday, or Wednesday, Ole Miss on Saturday, then you re-rack, go Missouri at Texas to end the season. Is there a number that you're looking at?
Man, if you win your 2 home games, that's going to be 2 ranked wins against teams in the team.
And all of a sudden, you're talking about 7 quad 1 wins,
7
right?
quad 1 wins, and you're going to be able to say, well, yeah, Arizona and Michigan.
Sure.
And you're going to say we went to Arkansas if it comes down to OU or Arkansas in the grand scheme of things. You'd love to get 3. I think 2 would put you in very nice position heading into Nashville in the SEC tournament. But what you also like, your 2 biggest possibilities are the 2 home games.
Sure.
Those are the ones that would resonate the most. Although, everyone would love a road win in terms of like the net and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you could beat Kentucky and Missouri at home, that's the type of statement that you have to make. In Kentucky, between Ortega, Owe, Brandon Garrison, I believe Lamont Butler, Jackson Robinson will be out. I don't believe they are going to
Sounds like they're
play.
just going to miss him with, I believe, Auburn coming up,
yes,
right?
they have Auburn on the weekend, and the goal is to try to get them back for that game, not necessarily the one in Norman. So you've got the breaks falling on your side. You've got the momentum. This is what we've seen how many times in these 4 seasons? Everyone's going to load up. I think it's going to be the best crowd of the entire season. Does OU lay an egg, or does it bring its best when the people show out?
Ortega Owe returning to Lloyd Noble Center, coming off of his worst game of the season, just 2 points on Saturday in Tuscaloosa.
The first time he's under double digits.
Unbelievable. And then you got the Ole Miss date coming up on Saturday. It will be important for Oklahoma to find a way or an answer for Amari Williams inside. He's been on a little bit of a heater as of late.
Bit.
So I don't know. We'll see. They as soon as they got me out, they pulled me right back in.
And then you might be out after Wednesday.
Of course.
Kobe Brea ends up just going nuts.
Of course. It's going to take a kind of a big effort from everybody. And, we didn't talk about it, but a big play in the Oklahoma game on Saturday was, speaking of big threes, Bryce Goodine in the corner,
Yes.
the 4-point play. That was a big swing, I thought, for Oklahoma to kind of steady everything. It seemed like, and that was what Oklahoma's been missing in a way, was that answer.
Yep.
When a team makes a run, they hadn't had those answers, and they found a way on Saturday. Rolls into Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. Should be a lot of fun.
Just keep fighting through hard. That's been Porter Moser's message the last 3 weeks. They did it Saturday. Can they get that same type of effort?
Listen, I'll be the first one, hand up, to say I want Porter Moser to sit there and give me the middle finger after they punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament. I think that'd be a step in the right direction, but they're going to have to do it. They're obviously kind of still in the tournament as of today, according to Joe Lenardi. We'll see where things kind of rack up here at the end of these next 2 weeks and the end of the regular season. And I don't know if anybody's like really into this, but if you're a college basketball junkie and you want Oklahoma to make the NCAA tournament, would it be a bad thing on Monday night to be cheering for Michigan? They had to Lincoln to take on Nebraska. Nebraska, one of those teams that kind of joins Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
On the bubble, good resume. We'll see where it goes.
Yep. I mean, they're probably the last 4 byes, I believe, going into this week. And if Michigan beats them, well, hey, we beat Michigan.
Sure.
And then maybe Nebraska starts falling into the last 4 in. Maybe you start jumping them just little by little. It was a great Saturday. SMU, Wake Forest going down. Sunday, you hit a little hiccup with the Hoosiers and that comeback against Purdue. So now you got to be on the watch for them. But, yeah, you're at the point where every single day you're going to have to start tracking these bubble teams and seeing what they're doing every single night.
Dusty Man, the Michigan Wolverines, looking to bounce back after a home loss to Michigan State on Friday. So, all right, that's going to do it for the men's side. Bob, we appreciate it. We will be there in tow on Wednesday night. Big game at the LNC. Let's catch up with Jennie Baranczyk and the Oklahoma women. We welcome George Stoia to the program next. Welcome back. We now have George Stoia in studio. A good weekend for Oklahoma athletics just in general. We'll talk about baseball and softball and everybody else. That was a really good win for the baseball team, but this is a basketball report. This is a hoops report. Jennie Baranczyk and crew made quick, slight work of Arkansas on Sunday, 94-54, a 40-point win for Oklahoma, who wins their 5th straight. Let's jump all the way back into last week, though. You were at the Lloyd Noble Center when Vanderbilt comes to town, and a really, really good second half for Oklahoma. 101-81 victory over Vanderbilt. Michaela Blake's the phenom freshman. So they've now won 5 in a row, and we talked about Oklahoma building a little bit of momentum into the end of the season, and it appears they're doing just that.
Yeah, they're taking care of business, and I know that the opponents they're playing maybe aren't the best, especially not some of the teams that, like Arkansas, who's just a really bad basketball team this year. But, Vanderbilt, that's a really nice win. I mean, Vanderbilt's, been in and out of the top 25 this year at times. Like you said, Michaela Blake's, I mean, she's probably the best freshman in the country. I mean, she's fantastic, and she was really good on Thursday. I think she had, what did she have, like 38 maybe in that game or something?
I want to say she ended with 34, but
34,
38,
something
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but she
didn't get to 40. I know.
And she was coming off, some 50-point games and things like that, and I think she had 28 in the first half against OU, and then OU kind of shut her down.
I think she did, because I think you said, hey, she might go for 40 tonight. I was like, double that. She might go for 80.
Yeah, so they picked it up, and OU's playing really good basketball, and I think part of it is, Eddie, and what you're seeing, especially in the last two games, Raegan Beers. Yep. And we've talked about it, throughout this season, is they need Raegan Beers to be that kind of, player of the year type of player. Not to say that she's obviously not in the running this year, but a top 10, top 15 player in the country, like many expect her to be. And she just kind of battled injuries. The illness, I think, was really tough on her, a couple of weeks ago. But you're seeing it now, back-to-back games with 30 points. She's rebounding the ball. She's being physical. She's getting to the free throw line. I think the officiating maybe has helped her a little bit too. It sounds like the SEC has maybe been officiating her a little bit differently in the last few games. So you like to see that if you're Oklahoma, but she's really hitting her stride. And if she's playing like this, Eddie, they're going to be tough to beat.
It seems like, and this might have been something that was brought up during the broadcast on Saturday against Arkansas, which was a trip. That was a fun experience with the gentlemen that were on the call. But neither here nor there. For Oklahoma to get into that second round, if that's going to be the kind of the barometer right now in terms of where the program is at, it seems like Sahara Williams is going to play a big part of that.
Yeah, and she's been phenomenal, recently. I mean, she started to really up her scoring. She's shooting more three-pointers, which is something that wasn't really a part of her game a year ago. And even early this season, she wasn't shooting a ton of threes. I think she's gained a lot of confidence there. I think she hit 3 this last weekend, and that's a career high for her in a game. So you love to see that. And I think that, she's only a sophomore, so she's only going to get better. But, yeah, she's been playing really good for them. And they need, because right now, Eddie, you know what you're getting from Raegan Beers, and she's really upped her game the last 2 games. But you know what you're getting from her on a nightly basis. You kind of know what you're getting from Peyton Verhulst at this point. Like, she obviously can light it up, and she might have a huge game here and there, but you're going to get some points from her. It's, can you get a third, fourth girl to kind of really step up? Zaya Van has been that at times this year. Skylar Van will have really good games. And then you have Sahara Williams. And so I think that, and she's a great defender. That's the other thing about Sahara Williams. They would put her on Michaela Blake's, and her size and just her athleticism kind of made Blake's a little uncomfortable there in the second half, along with Lexi Keys. Lexi Keys has been one of their better defenders this year too. So, yeah, Sahara Williams, they need to get her going, and she's been playing really well lately.
What do you make of the final stretch here? Oklahoma has 2 games left, headed to Florida on Thursday, and then Alabama coming up on Saturday Sunday. Where are we at? Where are we at in this thing?
Yeah, look, Florida's not any good. I expect Oklahoma to go take care of business on Thursday in Gainesville. That's a game that they should win. And then Alabama's a really good test, and they're ranked 20th in the AP poll today. OU came in at 13th, so they've jumped a few spots and are sitting really in a nice position right now to host a regional. In fact, if they win these last 2 games, Eddie, and then also maybe win a game or 2 in the SEC tournament, I think there's a chance they're a 3 seed and maybe could even, if they make a run in the SEC tournament, sneak up into a 2 seed. That's how well they're playing right now. Their net rating, I think I want to say they're 16th in net right now, so they could improve there. But actually, they're 14th in net. So they're in a really good spot. If they can finish the season strong, I think for sure they're going to host a regional if they win these last 2 games. But if they win these in impressive fashion the way they've been playing right now, it would not surprise me if they end up being a 3 seed or higher in the NCAA tournament, which would be huge.
Are we looking at them playing first or second day of the women's SEC basketball tournament? I know that everybody's so log-jammed up at the top. Maybe we don't know yet, but is there any chance that they could earn themselves a bye?
Well, is it the top 4 teams?
Well, I think top 4 get double buys. 5 through 8.
They're 5th right. I think they're 5th right now.
Okay.
I want to say they're 5th or 6th right now in the SEC standings.
So maybe they can get a bye.
Yeah,
play on that first day.
The problem is they have the tiebreaker over Ole Miss, who's right there, and then Kentucky has the tiebreaker over them. Kentucky's free falling right now, though. They kind of had the opposite of OU schedule, where there's their first half of their season.
A little backload.
Yes, and now they're facing South Carolina, Texas, all these really good teams.
Sure.
And kind of getting crushed like Oklahoma did.
It's a rough second half against LSU on Sunday.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where if Kentucky keeps falling, then I think Oklahoma will probably get up into that 5th spot. But we'll just have to see. I don't think they can get into the top 4 though.
We're talking about, if Oklahoma, as we get into the middle of March, hosting an NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot that goes into it and where all these teams are headed and how they're seeded, but it'd be kind of cool if Oklahoma State got sent to Norman. I don't know if that's even a possibility right now. I think Oklahoma State's probably playing a little bit better.
They're playing really good right now.
So probably not.
Yeah, probably not. They're 21st in the country right now, so I would think that they're probably floating around a 5 or 6 seed though. So they could easily get sent to Norman, which would be a lot of fun. I hope OU gets it. I think it'd be a fun atmosphere at the LNC. I know they had it a couple of years ago, and Notre Dame came in and beat them. But
seems like that same group of Notre Dame girls that were like freshmen and sophomores,
and now they're unbelievable. Which they lost though this weekend.
The number one team, NC State, beats them in double overtime on Saturday or on Sunday. It was a really good game.
So I don't know. I mean, it feels like OU starting to hit their stride. At the same time, they're not playing the best teams right now, and they're just taking care of business. But that's what you want to do, right? Like, you should beat Arkansas by 40, Missouri by 30. Vanderbilt, I thought, was really impressive to beat them by 30. So, that's an NCAA tournament team that they really whooped up on. So, I think that Jennie Baranczyk and her crew are starting to play better basketball. They're cleaner with the basketball. I think they only had 14 turnovers against Arkansas.
That was going to be my final question. How are we doing on the turnover situation?
It's dropped, quite a bit the last few weeks. So if they can continue to do that now, again,
I don't mean to blast somebody, but is that because Nevaeh Tott's not seeing as much?
Her minutes have gone way down.
Sure.
You're seeing a lot more Raina Scott, who's entered the starting lineup the last few weeks, and then Zaya Van. Zaya Van has come in and played really good basketball for Oklahoma. Not only can she score, she defends really well, and she doesn't turn the ball over as much. For a freshman to come in and do that, and I think Tott's done a lot of really good things for OU over the last few years, but I think that her size has hurt her, especially in the SEC, and she just hasn't been careful with the ball. And then she, it's tough for her to score. So Zaya Van and Raina Scott, a little bit better shooters than her. So I think you're going to continue to see their minutes increase and maybe Tott's decrease.
Very good. Raina Scott, her brother Aaron Scott, had a big day for St. John's yesterday, and their win over lowly UConn, those scumbags. All right, that's going to do it for a Hoops Report. A big week, obviously, as we head into the final couple weeks. Final week for Oklahoma's women's team, and then the SEC tournament, obviously, coming up. We talked about it last week, Greensboro, I believe. Greensboro, yes. Charlotte, North Carolina. Just go to North Carolina, turn right. For George Stoia, thank you to Bob Przybylo joining us. We will talk to you next time here on the SoonerScoop.com YouTube channel. See you then.